Okay, so I'm going to use this video to show how I would introduce assemblies to the intervention group. This would happen in the event 3 of the PowerPoint slide. So we're going to firstly start off by creating a new assembly for the first time. And when an assembly opens, it's going to firstly ask you to insert components. So I'm going to use a assembly that I found from T4 website, which is very good because it shows all the main steps in creating an assembly, and it even includes some advanced mates which are very beneficial to learn. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the main body and add that in. Now it's better to add each component in one at a time rather than add them all at the start, because it can prove to be kind of harder to make them because they can sometimes fix to a certain point. Okay, so we're going to then add in the front upright as well. So we're just going to drag that in. Now we're going to mate these together. Now, this is the first thing the students are going to be mating. So the idea of mating is the way of bonding each part together. And it's said that it takes 3 mates for 2 parts to be fully defined to each other. Okay, so we're going to first start with the mate by facing or selecting this face of the upright, and it's going to be connected to this here face of the main body. Okay, now see the way it does slide that way. That doesn't really make any difference, because if I move this out of the way for now, no matter what, it's flush with each other. Okay, so now the next stage is selecting what's going to be the vertical of the upright and clicking this corresponding face of the body, which it should be mating together to. Now see the way it's going the way we want it to. And the third and final mate, selecting the top and the main area of the main body. So now they'll slide together, and that is them two. No matter how much I slide these two, they're fully defined. They aren't going anywhere. Okay, so that's done mating for these two parts. So again, we're going to insert component, and we're going to click front axle. And there it is there. Now this is the first time that we're going to use an advanced mate. So we're going to click mate again, and we're going to first of all select to go through the whole of the upright. Now that's the easy part. I'm just going to slide it across so we can see both sides of the axle, and now I'm going to come over to the left and right and click advanced mates and go to width. Now the reason I'm using this mating tool is because it saves us having to add a dimension to the mate. So we don't need to add any dimensions here, so we're going to click the 2 outside points of the axle and the 2 outside faces of the upright. So now basically this means that when that's done, which is done there now, okay, this side and this side are going to be exact same length, which they seem to be. Yep. Now that's that mate done. The next part is inserting the component for the wheels. So I'm going to click this little icon, the pin up here. So that keeps this honest, because we want to have 2. So we're going to have the front wheel. Click OK, and just drag that one there and one there. That's that done. Now this mating is going back to a normal mate, but the only difference is, because this is, as if I hover there, I can see that it ends before the end of the wheel. So I'm going to click just the tunnel part at first and click the axle. And I'm going to turn this around to face it like that. I'm just going to drag this out. Now we can't see the inside part of this wheel. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to click the end face of the axle, and I'm going to change so we can see the hidden detail. Alright, so now I can see how far this goes into the wheel, and I can also be able to click on the end part of it. So I'm going to click here. Okay, and I'm going to go back to normal now. And that is that mate fully defined. It only took 2 there, but that's only because we have a spherical surface, so there's only one face really. And do the exact same now on the other wheel. Just drag it out a little bit. Click the face again and change so we can see hidden dimensions again. And click there. Now, That is our two front wheels fully connected to the main body. Okay, so the next stage is inserting the components again. Now I want to add in the axle and the two wheels. So I'm going to choose back axle and back wheel. Now we're just going to go to axle first. Okay, so we'll drag that in, and now we'll do the two wheels. Okay, so they're going to come in as well, there and there. Now, exact same process as we went through with the front axle, do the same here. So click the main body and the inner part of the there. Okay, just drag this a little bit out so we can see it a bit better, and go to advanced mating. There are other ways. You can add a mate that'll go from this point, this face to here, using a dimensioned mate, but I just think this is a lot easier, a lot less complicated as well. Click that face and that face. Now we can see that moving so that it's perfectly distanced again. Now we're going to do the exact same as what we did on the other wheels, but because these wheels at the back, they actually are fully open, it's going to be a bit easier for us. So what we're going to do is just click that axle again on the inner part of the wheel and drag that across. Yep. And I'm just going to drag this out of the way for a second. I'm going to click the outside part of this wheel and the outside part of the axle. Now it is a lot easier than the first one because we can see the outside of the wheel, but it's the same process as the first time. And I'm going to click the axle and that. Now that is our two wheels fully mounted. Now the last part is the cab part of the steamroller, so we're going to first of all insert 4 uprights that hold up the cab. That is the cab support. Sorry, my SolidWorks now is having a bit of hassle, but no, sorry, I'm just going to insert components, which is the cab support. I'm going to click this pin again, so that means we can add more than one. So 1, 2, 3, and the final 4, and then click the OK button. Now, again, mating, we're going to be mating these 4 into these 4 holes set up for it, which is pretty much the same as what we were doing with the axles. Okay, so that's going to hover there. I'm just going to drag it up so we can see the end face like that. We can also do it the way we done with the wheels, but when you're actually able to see it, it's a bit easier. So just drag that down. That's one done. Mate on the 4. Now that's our 4 mates done. Now we just need to insert the final component, which is the cab cover. Now, as I said, normally it only does take 3 mates, but in this case, because there are 4 separate struts going into it, we're going to just ensure that we have it facing the right way. So we're going to go here first and mate. Just drag it up again, just so we can see on that face there. Okay, that's 2 mates. Now realistically it does only take 1 more, because if I add this to here, as you can see, all 4 struts are now in. Now we're nearly there. The last one that we have to add in is the exhaust part. The reason I'm going is because it's a different type of mate, because we'll be using a plane. So as normal, first we're going to mate the main body of it like we have done with all the other parts. Just drag it up for a second. Now we're going to click that edge again, and because we can't see the inside, we're going to use the hidden detail and click it down. Now the final mate that we're going to do is we're going to go down to the exhaust part. I'm going to click the front plane of it, and that is going to be parallel to our right plane. There we go. So that's just a different type of mate. We can use the planes to mate it facing a certain direction like that. And that is basically it. That should have us all set up for the next activity that they're going to do. Thanks.